Hello. Before we start this year, just to let anybody know that there are sponsorship opportunities available. Anyone wanting to sponsor a shear, please contact Royale Schomburn at royaleshomburncpa@gmail.com or via phone at 054-637-4321. Welcome to this week's episode of Analyzing Chazal. This week we'll be analyzing Rashi on this week's Parshas Mishpatim. Let's go to the pasuk. Perek Chaf Aleph, pasuk Aleph. Pasuk says, "Ve'ela mishpatim asher tosim lifnehem." These are the laws that you should spread out in front of them. Says Rashi, Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu leMoshe, Lo talel daitcha lomar eshne lahem haperek v'alacha beis o gimel pamim ad shetehei sedura befihem ve'eni matriach atzmi la'avinam ta'amei hadavar. God said to Moshe, "Do not think to say that I will teach Bnei Israel the chapters in the Torah and the specific laws 2 or 3 times until they know it by heart, but I will not trouble myself to put in the effort to have them understand the reasons for the laws." The explanation of Rashi. Rashi is explaining to us why the Torah uses the language spread out in front of them, which is to teach us that Moshe should not think that it would be enough for him to teach the monetary laws in a way that Bnei Israel would know the laws by heart, but not understand them. But rather, he has to trouble himself to put in the extra effort to make sure that Bnei Israel also understands the reasons for each law. The type of question we'll be using this week is that the commentary is seemingly describing a character trait for a person that on the surface would not seem to apply to him. Well, let's stop for a second. With the type of question we'll be using and the information you have until now, can you get the question yourself? Okay, here's the question. The question is that Rashi is talking about Moshe Rabbeinu, whose entire life was given over to God and Bnei Israel. How is it even possible that God would need to tell Moshe, "Do not think that you will not need to put in the extra effort to teach Bnei Israel the reasons behind the laws"? If teaching Bnei Israel the reasons behind the laws was what Moshe understood needed to be done, the extra effort would not bother him. And if he did not understand the necessity behind it, and that was what God wanted, it would not be because he did not want the extra effort, but rather it was due to a misunderstanding. Either way, it is difficult to understand why Rashi is focusing on the fact that Moshe would not want to put in the extra effort. The answer. As always, the answer comes from within the question. The question was that from Rashi it seems that the extra effort required for Moshe to teach Bnei Israel the reasons behind the laws was what might cause him to just teach Bnei Israel the laws, even though it was not the correct thing to do. But could that apply to Moshe Rabbeinu, whose whole life was given over to God and Bnei Israel, and would always do exactly as he was told and what he understood? The answer, of course, is yes. God did not tell Moshe specifically what and how to teach Bnei Israel. And even on Moshe Rabbeinu's great level, the idea of having to put in extra effort subconsciously caused him to understand that what God wanted him to teach were just the basic laws without the reasons. Due to this, God had to specifically tell Moshe to give over the reasons as well. The practical application. In our lives, in our avodas Hashem, we find ourselves failing in certain areas because we rationalize that doing the mitzvah is not the right thing to do now. However, many times the actual basis of the reasoning is that we just do not want to put in the effort, and we rationalize other reasons why it is the correct thing to do. An example of this might be a person giving himself reasons why not to get up to daven with a minyan. The real reason he's not waking up is because he does not want to put in the effort, but his mind will come up with other reasons to justify it. We need to ensure that this trait of not wanting to put in effort does not cause us to rationalize ourselves away from doing the right thing in our avodas Hashem. Have a wonderful Shabbos, and we'll see you next week for Parshas Truma.